Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, you guys know what time it is. It's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about something that was linked to me by someone. They know that I've been covering Mike Rashid lately, so they linked me a video about him talking about overtraining. And you guys know that my stance on that is pretty much the textbook stance that everyone who knows anything about exercise science or training knows that overtraining is a bad thing. Overtraining always leads to muscle loss, loss of performance, potential health problems. The worst cases, overtraining will put you in the hospital. And that's not uncommon. An athlete who has truly reached an overtrained state might actually have to be hospitalized for it. That's reality. That's the reality of the human body, even in the best athletes in the world. Now, Mike Rashid in this video was saying, I want to bring back overtraining. That overtraining has been portrayed in a really negative light, but I want to make overtraining good again. What? That was my initial response when I heard him say that. It was literally the most idiotic thing I have ever heard this man say. I mean, he said some pretty bad stuff in his video about eating one meal a day, that stuff that we know is provably false. I mean, just biologically false. Anyone who's looked at basic human anatomy, probably even a high school student who's taken biology or human anatomy course at the high school level, could debunk things that he said in that video. He literally doesn't know anything about the human body. It's scary. This is someone who gives workout nutrition advice who doesn't even have a high school level knowledge of the human body. But he went on to say that he wants to make overtraining good again. He wants it to be seen as a positive thing. That's like saying, I want to make AIDS seem like a positive thing. You know, AIDS has been really hyped up to be this bad thing. I want to make it good again. I don't know what the logic for that would be. Maybe you like gay people dying or something. I don't know. But overtraining is a good thing. And it's, again, you've got a case of someone who actually doesn't know what overtraining is, clearly, because he seems to correlate overtraining with just training hard. In fact, I go so far as to say that what he said in that video when I was listening, that you have to go above and beyond what you normally do. That's not overtraining. That's called progressive overload. Progressive overload has never been portrayed as a bad thing. We've known for over 2,000 years. All right, the Western world has known for over 2,000 years that progressive overload is a good thing. I mean, you guys know the story of Milo and the bull, right? Milo of Croton was the strongest man in ancient Greece. And Milo postulated that because if you only gain strength really, really slowly, or only lift something a little heavier, fractions of a pound heavier than you've ever lifted before, and you do it over and over, that you will get infinitely strong eventually, given enough time and small enough increases. And so he speculated that, and he was already considered one of the strongest men in ancient Greece at the time, but he speculated that if he went and got a bull calf and got down under it and squatted it and picked it up and carried it every day, that if he did that starting from the time it was a baby, that if he lifted that bull and carried it every single day, that his strength would increase with the weight of the bull's growth. And I mean, we're talking about very, very small changes. I mean, a bull like that only gains ounces a day. So he literally was only adding ounces to the amount he lifted every day. But when he did this, when the bull was fully grown, he got under the bull and squatted it off the ground on his shoulders in front of a crowd, thus lifting the bull. All right, that's progressive overload. That is the story of progressive overload. Milo of Croton is considered to be the father of progressive overload because of that. The most famous story in the entire sports science world. Because it shows what we still know today, that progressive overload is what makes you bigger and stronger, right? You just have to do a little more than you did before. But he's coming in saying you've got to push way beyond, way beyond. He tries to make it sound like something just really hardcore. Guys, there's nothing hardcore about lifting weights. It's just lifting weights. You know what? Most of us, it's something we do for leisure and fun. I come in and do reps with 500 pounds on the deadlift without a belt, without straps, for fun. And I know that'll sound crazy to some people. Some guys who haven't been lifting that long might be like, I don't know, that sounds kind of hardcore to me. But it's not, guys. It's just lifting weights. It's just lifting weights. All right, lifting weights. We're not out there on a battlefield risking our lives, killing other people when we're in the gym lifting weights. It's just not hardcore. I mean, that's more hardcore than anything anyone's doing in the weight room, being out on a battlefield. Being in a war zone, even if you're not a soldier, be a war zone. All right, now that's hardcore. You want to know what's hardcore and hard? A single mother working 2 jobs to feed her children and put a roof over their heads and clothes on their back. I think that's pretty hardcore. That's hardcore, all right? Being on a battlefield, that's hardcore. Weight room, this is a leisure activity. Why do all these guys need to make it sound like what we all do in the gym is just really, really hardcore? It's not. There was a time when I went a little bit that direction on my earlier channel, but at a certain point, you got to realize this stuff isn't hardcore. This is a leisure activity that we do for fun and health. All right, that's it. It's a leisure activity. It's a hobby. For many of us, it is a way of life, training is, but it's a hobby. We do this for fun. This isn't a sacrifice. All right, it's not hardcore. It's not badass. It's just something we enjoy doing. And if we didn't enjoy doing it, we wouldn't do it. But he's got to put forward these ideas that, oh, you have to do all this. Almost this whole concept of shocking your body. The truth is, do you know how you get bigger and stronger? Do a little bit more than you've ever done before. Take any exercise. I don't care. Bench press, the deadlift, the curl. I don't care. You know how to make the muscles involved get bigger and stronger? Do 1 more rep than you've ever done. Do 1 more rep somewhere. You know what? If you've been doing 5 sets of 3 reps on the deadlift, try to do 6 sets of 3. Or even do 1 more rep on a 6th set. If you do that and you did 1 more rep in the same workout, you're going to grow from that. Try putting 5 more pounds on the bar. If you can deadlift 400 pounds for 5 reps, 6 reps, do you know what will make you bigger and stronger? You put 405 on the bar and lift that a few times. If you do that, you'll get bigger and stronger from that. And the thing is, you can actually do the same workout several workouts in a row and still continue to make progress on it. Usually, the law of adaptation states that you start to adapt after about 3 weeks. So if you don't increase your workload in some way after 3 weeks, then you probably won't grow much from that exercise anymore. But you could also add in another exercise, an accessory exercise, and the extra volume from that will actually stimulate new adaptations and growth. All you have to do is add a little bit more. You just have to work 0.5% harder than you previously have worked to make progress. But he's talking about, we need to make it go above and beyond. And he wants to take a term like overtraining. Like overtraining. Which is a medical condition diagnosed by sports physicians, and try to make it good again. He wants to make overtraining good. Overtraining is bad. Overtraining is always bad. If you are in an overtrained state, your lifts will go down, guaranteed. All right, that's not even subject to debate. There's plenty of documentation on that. This is studied in sports sciences and sports medicine. You're going to get weaker. In other words, if you bench 300 pounds and you reach an overtrained state, you probably will not be able to bench 275. If you tried to bench 275 and you could normally do 300, that 275 is going to stick on your chest and you won't be able to move it. All right. When you're overtrained, your resting heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, and it stays there, meaning a person who's overtrained, if you take their vital signs, they're going to be in a stressed state. All right, they're going to be in a stressed state. Their heart rate's going to be up, their blood pressure is going to be up even when they're laying down resting. When they wake up first thing in the morning, their blood pressure will be elevated. All right, overtraining is a bad thing. And to take something like that and try to turn it into something marketable, and it's one thing to take it and make it into something marketable because you want to pretend like you're being hardcore, right? All right, that's one thing. But it's another thing entirely to come in and say that I'm going to take something that has a negative connotation and I'm going to make it positive again. Telling me training until you have elevated blood pressure, until you have an elevated resting heart rate, until you get muscle cramps and spasms that keep you awake at night, until you start ripping tendons and connective tissue, that you want to make that positive again? Seriously? Why do these idiots, these ignoramuses, try to market stuff like this? Why can't they just talk about training? Because nothing that he's talking about is really overtraining. He's coming in and doing a bunch of high volume, as some of us call it overtraining. That's just called high volume training. That's not called overtraining. Then he said he was going to do overtraining because he was going to hit a training max on squats every day. That's called Bulgarian light. That's not overtraining. Bulgarian light system, you shouldn't overtrain if you do Bulgarian light correctly. There's several coaches who have prescribed methodologies for this exact style of training. Everyone from Matt Perryman to John Bros to Greg Knuckles, these are all respected coaches. They all have systems of Bulgarian light training which have you do the exact same thing. It's a well-known protocol. It's not overtraining. But you know what? If he were to just take all these other things and just use the normal, regular terms for them, I guess it wouldn't sound hardcore and he wouldn't be able to market it. But guys, all this is just lifting weights. It's not hardcore. It's just something we all do for fun. And that includes Mike. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.